I'm Adam.
And I'm Cupcake.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Hey, Cupcake, what's got you moving around today?
You know, you don't have to say cow puns because of me. It's kind of pandering to the audience.
Duly noted.
I was just thinking about mittens. You know, how they always seem to disappear?
Mittens, huh? They're like socks' mischievous cousins. One minute they're there, the next, poof, gone into thin air.
Absolutely. I swear they have a secret portal to another dimension. Maybe there's a parallel universe filled with single mittens having their own shindig.
I have to be honest, I haven't worn a mitten since I was a little kid. I actually have more of a problem with that with socks.
As long as we're being honest, I don't wear them either.
In today's book, a young boy's lost mitten leads to a charming snowy animal adventure. Let's get started. The Mitten, a Ukrainian folktale adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. "If you drop one in the snow," she warned, "you'll never find it." But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm, and just the right size, so he decided to stay. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over.
Was there ever a time when you just pretended to do something that your parents told you to do?
I used to pretend to eat my vegetables by hiding them in a napkin and then putting it in an opening under the table when no one was looking.
I pretended to clean my room, but just stuffed everything under the bed.
Classic kid move. Closets were always an option too.
Hey, maybe our parents secretly knew what we were up to all along.
As a parent, I have to assume that's true. Little kids really aren't very sneaky most of the time. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rat, and the hedgehog grumbled, but when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. When they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room.
Remember the time I stretched out my favorite apron?
I remember the apron, but I don't remember how it got stretched out.
Well, picture this. I was reaching for the top shelf to grab some sprinkles for the cupcakes. But guess what? My apron got caught in the drawer handle below, and I ended up doing a sort of clumsy limbo dance trying to untangle myself.
You must have looked like a contortionist cow.
Oh, it was a sight to behold, let me tell you. The kid sure thought it was hilarious. And the best part? When I finally got free, the apron was so stretched out it looked like a superhero cape.
A superhero cow lunch lady, ready to serve the day with cupcakes.
Exactly. I might have lost an apron, but I gained a whole new alter ego.
A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal could argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whisker, gave an enormous sneeze. The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white mittens, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. One time I tried to make a homemade volcano for my science fair project, then it accidentally set off the fire alarm in the process.
What a moment. Did you get in trouble?
I was convinced I'd have to explain myself to the principal, trying to justify my explosive experiment.
So what happened?
I got an applause for my innovative approach to science, and they even put up a safety poster using my mishap as an example.
That feeling of narrowly escaping trouble while learning a lesson? That's priceless.
Another thing that would be priceless is if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam.
And I'm Cupcake.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Did you know Abby Condon, one of America's first female entrepreneurs, succeeded in securing a contract to produce hand-knitted mittens for soldiers during the American Civil War for 25 cents a pair? Rather than running a factory, though, she hit on another method. She recruited women from all over New England, sent them the wool to knit mittens at home, then sent the results to the front. In 1 year, 15,000 dozen mittens were sent out